What if everything you thought you knew about Meghan Markle's family life was a lie? We're not talking about petty gossip or random internet rumors. This time, the shocking claims come straight from Meghan's own father and brother. From frozen eggs to a mysterious hysterectomy to children who may not even be biologically hers, this story reads like a royal scandal thriller. And yet, nobody's asking the real questions. Stay with us, because what you're about to hear might be the biggest royal cover-up of our time. Family Bombshells, a past that doesn't add up.
And she's changed. She's not the daughter I knew. My daughter was a much more giving, loving person than she is now.
This story doesn't begin in Buckingham Palace or at a red carpet event. It starts with two voices that rarely make headlines anymore: Meghan Markle's own father and brother. According to Meghan's father, she made the decision to have her eggs preserved many years ago, a choice that in itself isn't shocking. But what came next set off a chain reaction of questions that still haven't been answered. Her brother reportedly stepped in with an even more eye-opening claim that Meghan later underwent a medical procedure which would have made natural childbirth no longer possible. If this timeline is accurate, it places both of these life events while she was still married to her former husband, Trevor Engelson, well before Prince Harry ever came into the picture. This completely reshapes the public's perception of her personal journey. If she faced such medical circumstances years ago, then how do we explain the birth of her two children, Archie and Lilibet? For many royal watchers and online sleuths, that's not a small detail. It's the central question that could turn the carefully crafted royal narrative on its head. And what makes it more than speculation is that these claims aren't coming from anonymous sources. They're coming from her own family, who would presumably know what was happening during that period of her life. No accusations, no conclusions. Just a question that grows louder with every silent response. If biological motherhood wasn't possible, then what's the real story behind the royal children? The money problem. Could she afford the plan? There's another angle that makes the situation even more complex, one that's not about emotions or relationships, but about numbers. Let's talk costs. Preserving eggs long-term isn't just a one-time expense. It requires consistent monthly payments for storage, figures that can reportedly range anywhere from $8,000 to $9,000 per month, depending on the clinic and the level of care involved. Now let's rewind to the time when Meghan was still starring on the TV show Suits. At the height of her role, insiders say she was earning about $7,000 per episode. On paper, that sounds like a solid income. But here's the twist: Meghan didn't appear in every episode. And when you tally up her total screen time across the entire series, it adds up to just over 2 hours. That's it. Just a few minutes here and there over multiple seasons. That limited exposure raises a fair question. Was her income consistent enough to support the kind of high-end storage required to maintain a long-term fertility plan? Financially speaking, it doesn't quite line up. If those eggs were stored during a time when she wasn't consistently working and her earnings were modest by Hollywood standards, could she have realistically kept up the payments over several years? And then there's the timing of the reported medical procedure that, according to her brother, would have made natural childbirth impossible. If that did take place after the eggs were frozen and before Prince Harry was in the picture, it suggests that even if she had initially preserved them, she may not have been in a position to use them later on. When you put it all together, it casts a long shadow over the official story. Doesn't prove anything conclusively, but it does raise a key point that mainstream media seems reluctant to touch. If the finances didn't support the plan, and the timeline doesn't support the outcome, then what exactly happened? Motherhood or make-believe? The missing moments that sparked a movement. In today's world, where every celebrity moment is captured, shared, and analyzed, it's nearly impossible to live a private life, especially if you're part of the most watched family on Earth. That's why people began to notice something unusual about Meghan's public appearances with her children. When most parents are seen with their kids, especially in royal settings, you expect at least some display of warmth. A quick hug, a playful glance, the simple chaos of raising little ones in front of the cameras. But in Meghan's case, there's a noticeable absence of those organic, human moments. Critics and even neutral observers have pointed out that most photos and video clips of her with her children feel carefully choreographed. There's often a stiffness to the way she holds them, no natural eye contact, no signs of comfort or casual interaction, just a polished, almost rehearsed presence. And while that might seem like nitpicking, it becomes harder to ignore when every appearance follows the same pattern. What's even more curious are the visual inconsistencies. In one widely shared moment, a young girl believed to be Lilibet was spotted at a public venue wearing a particular outfit, but the next day, photos showed what appeared to be the same child, yet with distinctly different facial features, wearing a different dress in a different setting. Could it have just been an odd camera angle? A trick of lighting? Or is it possible that more than one child has been used in public appearances? Of course, no one is claiming to know the full truth, but these small details, over time, have created a growing wave of speculation. Not out of malice, but out of curiosity. People are asking, why does this family, so often in the spotlight, lack the kind of candid, unfiltered moments that are completely normal in other royal households? It's not about proving something one way or the other. It's about recognizing that something doesn't quite add up. And the more curated the narrative becomes, the more people begin to wonder what's being left out behind the scenes. The moon bump controversy, a scene too strange to ignore. Among all the theories and questions surrounding Meghan's motherhood journey, one particular moment has taken center stage, and it's become the most debated clip on the internet. It's often referred to as the moon bump incident. The footage shows Meghan walking through a hospital corridor during the pandemic. She's visibly pregnant, or at least appears to be. But what caught the internet's attention wasn't the setting, or even the timing. It was the strange way her baby bump moved. As she squats down to greet someone, the front of her dress folds in a way that doesn't look quite natural. Viewers zoomed in, they slowed it down, and what they found has fueled speculation ever since. Instead of behaving like a real baby bump, the shape seemed to shift, bend, and even fold in on itself. Critics claimed it looked more like a padded prop than anything biological. Supporters dismissed it as an unfortunate camera angle, but whatever the truth is, the moment lives on as one of the most puzzling clips in the Sussex saga. Now let's factor in the setting. This wasn't a casual walk in a park. This was inside a medical facility, during a time when strict health guidelines were in place. Access was limited, filming was tightly controlled. Hospitals weren't allowing visitors, let alone camera crews, during the height of global health protocols. So how did the scene happen? How was she allowed inside, fully dressed up, with cameras rolling in a sensitive medical environment? That's what raises the stakes. Because this isn't just about a wobbly belly or a weird video. It's about the possibility that something deeply orchestrated may have been presented as real, at a time when rules were strict and public trust was already fragile. If it was simply a misunderstanding, there were many opportunities to clarify it, but no clarification ever came. And when something looks strange, feels off, and is never addressed, well, that's how rumors become investigations. This one incident didn't start the conversation, but it certainly supercharged it. No evidence, just edits. For a couple as famous as Meghan and Harry, you'd expect at least one candid pregnancy photo, a blurry paparazzi shot, a grainy hospital selfie, something. Instead, we got curated, glossy images, carefully edited portraits that look more like a luxury brand campaign than family keepsakes. There's also the issue of birth certificates. Meghan allegedly had her royal title removed from the kids' documents, and then added it back in. Even immigration officials reportedly got involved, contacting King Charles for clarification. That doesn't happen unless something's off. Harry's role in the act. Let's not pretend Harry's just along for the ride. He's deep in this too. Smiling for the camera, pushing for HRH titles for the kids, even though the Queen reportedly said no titles for royals who stepped back. But Harry pushed anyway. And King Charles caved. Why? Some say Meghan and Harry wanted royal titles for their children to lock in long-term influence, not just status, but permanent leverage inside the monarchy. Even from outside, the public sees through it. People are connecting the dots. Meghan's body language with her kids feels off. She holds them stiffly. There's no eye contact, no natural affection. Handlers are always nearby. The kids look staged. And the public, they're starting to see it. It's not hate, it's observation. And every time someone questions it, defenders say, she's just private. But this goes beyond privacy. This looks like a fully engineered narrative, one where children may have been used as props in a long-term publicity strategy. The bigger picture, public deception. If Meghan used a surrogate, fine. If she adopted, fine. But the problem is, there's no transparency, no truth, just an endless stream of distraction tactics, from viral videos to manufactured scandals designed to pull attention away from the real question. Who are these children? And if Meghan is truly their mother, why not just prove it? Instead, she keeps doubling down on staged appearances, royal titles, and carefully polished PR moves. A damaged institution. This isn't just about Meghan, this is about the institution of the monarchy. They walked away from royal duties, but still use royal titles, still appear on the official royal website, still benefit from the brand, all while dodging accountability. Every staged photo, every vague interview answer, every legal threat when the press gets too close, it's all part of a carefully maintained illusion. And the palace? Silent. But silence isn't neutrality. It's complicity. In the end, the public might never get a smoking gun, no clinic records, no leaked documents, but the truth has a way of slipping through the cracks. Because when you claim royalty, raise royal children, and profit from a royal image, the public has a right to ask questions. And right now, those questions are piling up faster than Meghan and Harry can spin them. The illusion can't hold forever. And when it breaks, it could bring down more than just a reputation. It could expose one of the biggest image cons in modern royal history. Subscribe and stay tuned, because this story is far from over.